How are you finding your way around the course in general? Any questions, any concerns, any...
It's going pretty good. I'm having trouble uploading pictures.
You do it through the app or through the desktop?
Oh, I'm on my laptop.
Okay, yeah, maybe we look at that offline together.
Okay.
Huh? Maybe we'll check in on that because we want to make sure you can do that. So the other thing that is a problem still is the tutorial for the studio videos is not working, and I want to actually take that out because I don't think studio is that great to make a video. I think the best way to make a video is just make a video on your phone and then go through the phone camera and upload it on that. That's what I think. And so I want to make a little tutorial about that. But if you have a phone, you probably know how to take a video or picture on a phone. And then from there, if you go into the Canvas app, there you can choose what form you want to upload, and then you can pick your video or your picture from, generally speaking, from your library for the photos. So if that doesn't work, if it's hard, let me know. We can individually do it until I got that tutorial done. It's second on my priority, not the highest right now.
I have a question.
Yes, Brittany, go ahead.
So on Canvas, I for what is it? The assignment where you have to, let me go to it first. So I did it and it said that it's not submitted. So I don't know if I'm doing it right. So it's the tips and questions.
Oh yeah, that one. Okay, good. You bring that up. Tips and questions. I have to hand grade later. I have to go through those. I usually try to do that like Monday morning, but in the first couple weeks, I'm getting the real scoring myself. So I'll be doing that later on today, and then I'll give you credit at that in the background. It doesn't give you automatic.
Okay, so I want to know if I'm doing it right. So when I go there, I clicked on the box at the bottom where it says like do a response. So then I type a response. And that's all I do, right?
And that's all you do, really, yeah. And then you look through.
Okay, I was just making sure I did it right.
Yeah, and
I'm like saying it's not submitted.
Yeah, because, and that's good you bring that up, because the softwares don't connect together well. So it doesn't always flawlessly work that it does it internally, and so I just have to do it by hand later on. When I go through it, I do it. All right, cool. Then what my plan is to in the Zoom is to go through the material brief or talk about that, and then when we get to that point, we close out week one and then start week two, and then we go into those activities. So make sure you bring those questions back, please. I need you guys' input. Any other general questions to the course, or also we can open it for week one?
Yes. Hi. Good morning, Doctor. This is Noellen.
Hi, Noellen.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. Do you close out the modules?
No, I do not.
At all, like that we can go.
No.
You don't. Okay.
You're gonna be fine.
Okay. Thank you so much. And then my next question is, when is the next time I can you'll be on campus or somewhere to get a book?
I will be in Oakland. I'm in Walnut Creek today, and then in Oakland tomorrow morning to about 2-ish, 1-ish, 2-ish, and then back Walnut Creek, and then for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, I'm back in Oakland.
Okay, so tomorrow between 1 to 2.
Between 8 probably more like 9 in the morning and 1-ish in the afternoon. And I'm not on Merritt campus. My address is on Pill Hill.
Oh, right.
It's on McClure. Okay. So make sure you text me then I text you the address, and then you just put, you click on it, it goes into the map.
Okay, got it. Thank you, sir. Okay,
cool,
thanks.
Cool. Okay, good questions, very good questions. Anybody else on this week's material? Last week, if you don't, I might go for it a little bit. Let's see, I should share this other screen too, not just this screen. Hold on. Where am I? Safari. Give me Safari.
Hi, good morning, Dr. M.
Good morning.
It's Yeslin.
Hi.
Did you get my assignments?
The ones you texted me?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I couldn't turn them in on there.
Yes.
So I just sent them to you.
Yes, I did. I did get them. I didn't do them yet.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to ask if you did.
Yeah. No, I did. I'm in catch up mode.
It's okay. Thank you.
You guys, some of you guys, well, no, that I shouldn't say that. No, if you keep up with the work. But the other thing is, if you're a little bit slow, don't be too slow. Don't get too many weeks go, because we're actually moving quite fast in the material, but that's the nature of the beast. But I gave you leeway to be a little behind or a little ahead. I opened all the ones up to test 1, which is after the 3rd week. So that way we just get that beginning stuff out of the way. It's not like to scare you away. These are open book tests. So it's really about organizing the material and working through the questions and the, that kind of stuff. And then I want to make sure. So if you're late with assignments, like if you're handing it today, it says you're late, and you do get a penalty, which is 1% of 100, which brings you down to 99%. My grading is, except for the tests, the exams, is you either get 0 points or you for a rubric part, or you get all the points for those rubrics. So in a discussion, if you post, you get 5 points. If you reply, you get another 5 points. If you didn't reply to 2 other people, then you don't get those 5 points until you do, and then I go back and give you the 5 points. So you have ways to improve on your work all the time, except for the 3 major exams. So keep that in mind. That's why I'm grading 0 or 100, because that way I get your attention. And so if you are a little bit late, you get a little bit of a penalty of 1%, but it will never reach more than 10 days. So it'll never go below 90%. So it will never go below an A. And the other thing is, once I've instituted that, I go, people be a little more on time, which is helpful to, that we're more or less on time. But if the late penalties are going to be the ones that are going to knock you into a different grade, then we're going to remove those. So I'm not going to be here to punish you. I just want to get us moving in a way that, we're somewhat congruent with the whole thing. I don't know. What's this here? I have a green screen. Look at that. Okay, so does that make sense? Who said that question? I'm sorry. Whoever asked that question, does that make sense? Well, I assume it did then. So any other questions to week 1, or generally how the course works right now? If not, I want to make sure you pay. And the other thing is, as a rule in this meeting, I want you to interrupt me. So don't feel shy of saying, oops, I question, because it's hard for me to monitor hands up and stuff like that, and to chat. So I just want you to interrupt me. In this class, it's completely appropriate. I do expect you to do that. I don't like me just doing a dialogue. It's hard. I don't want to hear myself too much speaking. So anyway, what we do, so I want to make sure as you close out week 1, if you're there at this point, you go to the module. Let me see if I can walk through that to that. Let's see if that works. Sorry. I'm trying a new program to figure out how to do this best presentation thing, so I'm a little slow on it. So yeah, that works. So you go from week 1, we close out week 1, or we did that, so we could collapse it. We have under here on the week after week 3, we have a test module, and then test 1 review. When you click on that, we're going to get us a nice little review of the major concepts that I want you to know for sure for the test. So look at that. That's 1 page right there. So if you've gone through all of these and you say, oh, I understand that, I understand that, I understand that. Oh, look at that. I can make flashcards with that if it's hard for me to remember it, let's say. Then you're good from this chapter for test 1. This also means I would personally, if I would be you, I will print it out and have that be one of my main documents, that I make sure I understand the material, because then I can have that next to me when I do the test, because it's an open book test. I'm mostly interested in you guys understanding the material. Secondarily, well, no, I'm also interested in you remembering the material, but my philosophy is if you understand the material and you do something with the material, then we're going to be good with the remembering part as well, versus just drilling into the head. You can do that with the flashcards quite efficiently, but I think what's more important is that you know what the stuff means and how to apply it. And so we'll do a bunch of that application type stuff. Yeah, if I actually go into week 1, let's just go right into that. So any questions about that review? Are you guys good with that? Nobody? That means we're
That's good.
That makes sense.
All right, good. Yeah, see, you kind of work backwards a little bit that way. And again, a lot of the stuff for a lot of us is we've heard it before, so it's a review. Also, not everything's new, so also that way you can kind of figure out what's new or what you need to focus in on. As we close out week 1, I'm going through stuff like that. After the phone call, I'm going to go, or after the Zoom, I'm going to go through the lifestyle assessment thing and figure out which part was which group and so forth. So you guys did good. Most of you handed something in already. I just didn't grade it yet, that part. But that kind of is how I tie things together. So we start talking about anatomy and physiology. Yeah, we can memorize all those concepts, which is important, or understand them. But then to me, what's also important is what do I do with that? And so if I bring in a bigger picture view of the whole body, I want to see how can I feel well in this body, and I talk about that as wellness. If we go really scientific, we talk about that being morbidity as a word, not mortality. That is when we die. Morbidity is sort of when we feel crappy and not want to go out, when we feel sicky and sickly. And so that we can work on that. We can't necessarily influence our genetic pool, although I disagree with that to some level. But we can influence for sure how we feel in that day and how we treat our body that day. And when we look at the main 3 categories, we look at some nutritional, chemical, emotional, spiritual, or structural, physical. Those are sort of the 3 main areas where I can make a change for bettering for myself to feel as good as I can feel. And so what I want us to do as you work through this assessment thing, and then also the habit creation thing a little bit, at the bottom here, we have what we turned in. And what I want you to do is give me one health challenge that you want to follow. Many of us do them already anyway. We walk, we drink, we better drink some liquids, right? That aren't just coffee or alcohol. But we want to track one of the 3 things for 3 weeks, and I'll have you track it 5 days a week for 3 weeks, so 15 days total. And then we can sort of evaluate, doing that, what did that do for us? And as 3 weeks is a pretty good amount of time that we'll start feeling a few things. And so you choose one of those. You either choose drinking 2 quarts of water a day, so measuring that a bit, and be water, not coffee, not tea, be water for those weeks. And then we could put a little lemon in it. You can do a little of that, but not alter it too much. And then the other one could be, and doesn't have to do 2, you just have to do 1. Unless you want to do more than 1, that's fine, is walking or exercising 30 minutes per day, 5 days a week. And I mean, walking is kind of the easy one. That we got legs to do that, but dancing is cool, bicycling is cool, swimming is cool. Not going for a stroll on the mall. So you want to focus on that exercise kind of thing. So you want to focus on the heart rate kind of thing going up. And the third thing that we can choose or do is 10 minutes of meditation or mindfulness kind of training type thing. Prayer can that be a day? And many of you have chosen one of those already. I'm sure the ones on the call all have done that. And what I want to do now is from today forward for 3 weeks. And you can do weekend and choose which days you want to do, but do 5 in 7 days kind of thing. Don't do all the 15 and then stop. because there's a little bit of logic with the length of 3 weeks on that. But then when you've done it, let's say you're drinking your 2 liters of water, I'm going to create texting groups of like usually about 8 to 10 people, not too many. And then you text your texting group and say, "Oh, I drinking the 2 liters of water, or 2 quarts. Sorry, I'm Europe, so I do liters. I drinking the 2 quarts of water, and I have peed all night long." And so you write something that you did it, and what did it make you do? Feel, I meditated, I felt much calmer, or I could actually sleep, or or do you guys have any ideas what to do? Or look, I got this new water mug and it feels really good to drink from that. We have communication ways of that, but I want us to check in with the group one time a day of 5 days a week, that we've done what we've laid out to do, the health challenge, and it made us feel like that. And so that way we help each other sort of go through the process, and we are a little bit reflective on what we do as well. And then the other thing I want you to do is track it on a piece of paper or on that little tracker that I put in here somewhere. And I think it's up here somewhere as a picture, isn't it? I can't remember. Sorry. But so it's just sort of a way of writing it down and checking it off that you've done it. And then at the end of the 3 weeks, we have a prompt where we upload the stuff into the Canvas shell, and then I give you credit for doing it. And then we'll talk about it. So all these health challenges that we do, or all these health kit activities, I call them health kit activities because what they do is they tie the information in with what we're learning more academically, more theoretically. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but I did have a question.
Yes, please.
When you said respond, like reply to your classmate, like with any suggestion or like feedback, do we respond weekly? If so, how do we do that? Because when I was doing the assignment, I just uploaded like a picture of what I did.
Oh, you mean for the health for this activity specifically? No, for this activity specifically, when we do texting back and forth, you just upload that you did the activity, and that's in the regular text. That is not going to be on Canvas.
Okay.
I'm going to send you prompts. I'm going to send you these texts, and then you just reply to that group once you get a group. Sort of, you have your group for 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
That's in the background. And then uploading, I'm talking about replying when we talk about discussions.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to discussions, then I want you to do your post and read other people's stuff too, and then communicate with 2 people that you like the post or whatever, interact with 2 classmates, and then we have that discussion going. And then I also interact with some of you guys. I can't do everybody, it's too many, but I try to be on there as well and do discussion stuff. Because a lot of the discussions are in the beginning, there is some concepts, just a few, and then after that, we really mostly talk about the health kit things that we're doing in the discussions. So that, because we got a few interesting ones that are coming up. Actually, if you guys are good with week 1, are you guys good with week 1, or you have a question still on week 1 here? Anything we just talked about now?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of said something about it before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna text you a picture of it. But it says on the tips and questions, it says due yesterday. It don't say submitted.
Oh, what does it say?
It says due yesterday. I can kind of like text you.
Oh, so yeah, no, I understand. I understand that. But that's if once I grade it, then that's going to be fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Don't worry about the patterns. Oh, sorry, that shouldn't be. Oh, there is the picture. No, don't worry about that at all. The Padlet is sort of how to close out the week. That's the least serious part of the whole course. I mean, everything is serious, and I want you to reflect at the end of the week, but I don't want to have you to worry about that you're going to get points deducted because you did something wrong there. Just interact with somebody, and then you're going to be fine.
Okay.
And
And
that's
then,
general. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I do want to know about what is it? The scientist, my spotlight scientist. I wanted to know how to do that.
Yes, that's going to be week 2. We're going to get into that as soon as we close out week 1. Absolutely.
Okay.
What I wanted to just generally say is, yeah, if you guys are unsure about something, question, you can text me. And the other thing I need you to understand is I'm here to teach you. I'm here to make you understand material. I'm not, if you follow if you do if you do that, then you're going to be fine in this class, even if a little detail is a little late or a little this or that. But that's really the main thing. So don't feel too anxious if like something says, yeah, it's a due date, or we can always fix these things. A lot of the time, this is programming problems that just a big program like that comes with it. And not everything is accounted for. And so make sure you don't don't, if it's a problem for you, for me, it can be a problem that I might, get a little anxious about it, especially if it's something that I can fail, or I don't, don't try to be talking it down a little bit, and just reach out to me. That's why I'm available for you all the time. So text away, then we will be okay. So that, and then you can focus on the learning part, which is the most important part. All right, but with that, let's go to that scientist thing. So this week we're gonna have us do some chemistry, and so, but one, I'm gonna go briefly through the chapter in a minute, but I'm also gonna do this first because it came up a little bit, and I want to do these 2 prompts. Actually, these are a little bit non-topic related. The first one is my spotlight scientist, and what I have, I've actually stolen that from a business class, or copied it. And what I want us to do is I want us to find, science is often very male dominant, and then on top of that, you get the whitey pinky males who dominate that stuff. And I don't necessarily think that's the best way of gathering information and gathering knowledge and all that, obviously. Hopefully, these days, that's my thinking. But I want us to go into the world and find people that have done stuff in science that are minorities, that are, often it's women, often it's people of color. And then I want us to go to Wikipedia and just read the initial bio of them, and copy and paste that into this Google map in here. And you're going to access this Google map when you click on here. I'm not going to do it now. Oh, well, maybe I can. Maybe we have enough power. Sometimes things get slow with Zoom. And then you can, these are still from last year. See, you can actually see what these people have done last year, or in the fall semester. I'm going to change it, of course. I'm going to take some of these out, but add on a person that you find that you like. Often we come from different countries, so there are often people from other countries. I, for example, put here Madame Curie, and she's the one who actually got a lot of credit for her work, because she's the one who figured out radiology, or X-rays. And so that was great. Or the other one that didn't, that was a contemporary of hers, was Mrs. Einstein. He got a lot of credit, but she was the same kind of level of caliber, and they did a lot of their early work that he got the Nobel for together. And then she ended up, unfortunately, getting divorced, and dying, raising the 2 kids, and being sort of isolated in where I come from, in Zurich. And so what I want you to do is do a little bit of, fun. Go look around, think around a little bit, ponder, find somebody that, like, wow, that kind of catchy, that's kind of cool. That person did that, wow, and they were coming. A lot of people. I mean, it's kind of what I want with this activity is I want to get us a little spark that we are really here on a journey to do, and to get to where we want to go, and what we want to do, and also open our minds, and not like just feel, sometimes we feel a little, I don't know, pushed in from the sides, and minimized of what we're here to do, and what we can do, and we can contribute a lot to this world. I mean, I feel I feel it's very important that focus on that. And I feel fortunate that that's how I feel it's happened for me. Now that I'm saying that, I'm not even thinking you guys can see. Oh, you guys could see Madame Curie. Okay, great. Okay, so that's what I want you to do with this activity. Is that sensible?
Yes.
See, and then you have a little.
Okay, so you want us to
it.
find a scientist and then put their name in the Google and then go from there?
Yeah, and then you post step 2, you post it in the discussion forum below here. Oh, look, a few of you are already done that. And then you put it in a discussion forum below, and then you read a few of other, your classmates and have a discussion around it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So that's the one activity that's sort of still like a little, I call them like setting the groundwork type activity is for the course mindset, for the mindset. And then the other one that I've done in this week that I think is crucially important, or important, not crucial, important, is the explaining through images. So what I done here, give you a prompt of how to go look for images on Google or other search engines, and then download them and then use them to make your own textbook or to visualize things. Because I feel these days that the next university is going to be on YouTube. And me as a teacher going to say like, hey, here are all the clips that explain everything so freaking well. Watch them and then we're going to talk about it. And I feel similar with images. That's why I try to teach a lot with images. And so what I want you to do as an activity, I want you to at least go through the motions and learn how to do it if you don't do it already. And if you do, this is peanuts anyway. And that way everybody has a little bit of that up to speed. That's potentially a great way to learn. And you can, with that, you make your own textbook. Guess why my textbooks got made that way, the way they are now? Because I did all of that. That's why I put it in as an activity, so you can make your own and direct your studies. And these days we even have these programs like GoodNotes and in the iPad or probably other tablets too that I just don't familiar with, where you have so many ways of recording and embedding videos or pictures and annotating them and zooming in and using different colors, and it's amazing. And so make use of all the tools that we have to our fingertips these days. And we can always talk about the negative aspects of these devices, but they have a lot of positive. If we use them for us and not them they use them, us for them by sucking our brains dry. But that's why we have that activity this week. Any questions to that, or does that seem pretty straightforward? No.
Seems pretty forward.
It's pretty straightforward, right? Yeah. Just again, and if something comes up as a question, especially technical difficulty or so, don't text me, I don't like it, it's a pain in the butt. I'm like, yeah, that's all right. It's too bad. One time I had one student get really upset because that was in class still. She came up and she's like, God, I want to be a social worker. Why the heck did I have to take an anatomy class? And I said, well, some of these classes you just have to take so they all understand that you know how to think. And she got offended, and I was like, well, it's not me. I know you can think. That's fine. But, it's everybody else too. And so it's just part of that. We just do and try. And the thing that I found in having to study friggin' biochemistry, I didn't like it, obviously. But then at some point I started liking it because I had to do it in chiropractic school. And so I ended up just going like, okay, might as well just go for it. And then I realized if I spend time with it and don't just complain about it, I actually going to like a little bit of it and learn something. And so anyway, I don't know where that got in from. But these two activities here. Then we get into chemistry. And as we do chemistry, let's touch on chemistry real quick. Anybody did that already? Let's see here. Chemistry is a little bit more. So here are the chemistry things that we want to sort of know. So we're starting just with the big stuff. What is energy? What is matter? And then we get into the atomic structure. So we're going to talk about the small little particles in there and how they're made, and particularly how they connect together. That's what's been talked about, bonds. How do we make a water molecule, the H2O? These are the H's and the O, and then this is the connection of them. And so we got a few things we want to learn about that. And then we talk about the ways that we have the different ways of connecting these elements together in the body. We have a couple of different ways of doing that. And then after that, that's kind of, for our foundation. And then from there, we're really going to start talking about specific molecules. We talk about the water, the inorganic molecules first, the smaller stuff, the water, the salts, the acids, which when we have questions over it more, then we can talk about it next week. So I want you to go through the material first, and then we can bring questions up in the Zoom or also offline. Actually, by the way, I'm totally fine with being a tutor person to some level, but often we learn best when we explain things. So I want you to figure out, we are at home, so it's harder to be in the classroom and talk about it. But engage me as well. Ask me questions. We can meet on Zoom. We have that Zoom room that I can join as well. I'm your coach. I'm not just your teacher. And then from there, we go into the first we talk about monomers versus polymers. This is how long. When we talk about chemistry in our body, very often these organic molecules, the carbohydrates or the fats, or they're very long molecules, and so we need to talk about that. They're not just one little atom. And then we talk about them. We talk about the carbohydrates. Huh? And then oh, there we go. Sorry. Got it? Oops, where was I? Sorry about that. Carbohydrates, that's the the carbs, the bready stuff. We talk about how that chemically looks. Then we talk about a few terms here. Oh, look, hydrophilic versus hydrophobic. Those are good terms to know. Look, one of the things that you want to do in this anatomy stuff, you want to potentially even, nowadays you might want to have a list in one of these note things on the phone and have all these words in there. It's like hydro means water, and that's a prefix. So you have all these foreign words are usually connection of two things, the one in the front and the one in the back, and they both mean something, and then you connect them together. So hydro means water, and philic means loving, and phobic means fear. Arachnophobia or so. Phobia is a fear. And so when you then know those terms, you can think about it and say like, oh, hydrophilic, water loving. Oh, this is a molecule that likes the water, so it's actually easily dissolved in water. Or hydrophobic. Oh, this fears the water, so it probably pulls away from it. So that would be oily stuff, for example, doesn't dissolve in water. And so that
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where do I find that page, what you're on right now?
That
Where
page,
do I find that?
Look, that page, you go to modules.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm not in the. Wait, let me see if I can be in the student view. That way you can have it exactly like you. So there you go, student view. So we close week 1. And then down here in test, we have a review.
Mm-hmm.
And there we can print it from here. You can click here and it downloads it. And then, or here you can go on the screen, you just go into tab. If you're on the phone, just take a screenshot of it or something. And
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. No. And if you guys, if that comes up as a question, send me a text. You're never going to say, well, I told you that. No, that's not appropriate. You guys need to be able to use my brain. I mean, maybe if too long, I'm going to say it was in the video, watch the video. But please reach out. Don't be shy. I'm here for you. Anyway, then carbohydrates, and we talked about these words. So make use of early on, pick up. It's like, I don't understand this word. Well, good. Then let's figure out how to understand it, because it's probably going to make a lot of sense of what the whole thing is about once you understand a word, and you're not just studying a word that you don't have a clue about. So that's hydrophilic phobic is a big one. And then we talk about the fats. We talk about lipids. That's another macro big molecule that makes up our body. Generally speaking, our carbohydrates, our bready stuff gives us a lot of energy. So that's fast energy, quick energy, because it's actually the molecule that makes energy in the body. And we go at the end, it talks about that molecule. It's called ATP. That molecule is directly made from the bready stuff, from the carbohydrates. Then when we get into fats, fats are very often much used in the nervous system, actually. So if you don't eat any avocado at all, you're going to mess up your brain over time. We're not just talking about lard here. We're talking about good fats too. So we have to be very careful when we go with this general idea of fats being not good for us versus good for us. Fats are very, very important. They do carry a lot of calories. That's why they got into a bad rap, partially, which is good because that's actually dense calories is not bad. That means you don't need to eat that many of them because they also make us feel satisfied. That's why a lot of times when the lipid fat, the fat-free diets came in, people ate more carbohydrates and they get more fat because carbohydrates in the body that we don't use for energy is going to turn into fat. And so that didn't make no sense. But that's where, we have to sort of learn. And a lot of that is already known at this point. I just want to make sure you all understand some of that. But that's another very important molecule that we'll talk about in there a little bit. And we then go also and talk about proteins. And proteins are really cool because they're the molecules that create things in the body. They're like the muscles, the bones, the collagen, and all of that stuff is protein. So we talk about how we make these proteins things. They're also functional proteins. Muscle is actually functional, but also like the hemoglobin in the red blood cell. That's also protein, or enzymes are also protein. So that's really cool stuff. The proteins. Well, it's all cool, but the protein's cool too. And then nucleic acid, that's often not really in the food group thing. That's more the DNA. So we want to learn a little bit about how the DNA is made, the genetic pool stuff. And then the last bullet as well here, the adenosine triphosphate is the energy molecule in the body. And we'll talk briefly about in there. Well, not that briefly, but we explain why and how that is the energy molecule in the body and what it does and how we make it and break it. So that's pretty much what that chapter is about in here. Let me see if I actually, let's see, bring it up a little bigger. I don't know if we need to go through it that way because, no, I think we're pretty good. Is that a good overview for you guys, or you want to go more into detail on that?
No, that's fine.
That's okay, right? Okay, then let me actually just go back. Why did I even open that more? Let me just bring that back. Because then the one thing that we do in terms of the health kit as it comes to the chemistry chapter, integrating the material, now that we're on week 2, see, we get less activities now, thank God, right? The first week is kind of like, oh my God. We have an understanding concept. We always have a question. This is a 32 question thing, so this chapter is a bit long. That's why it's not too many other things there. But again, the questions, you could take them over and over. Even if you don't finish the first, just take them again. It doesn't matter. At the end, you want to have one set where you take them all so you get all the points. But, this is one where you sort of massage the stuff into your brain cells. And then one other thing that we're doing this week is we're going to go read food labels. So to integrate this material, I figured, let's go to the store and look at the nutrition fact label and analyze those a little bit, because that's actually what we're talking about. So I want you to make that kind of a food label analysis table and fill that out. And like if you look at a box of cereal or something, the thing you do first is you look at like how many servings are there per container, and then how many servings have you actually used. You want to make sure you do that, and then from there you figure out how many calories you consumed. Oh no, here you see how many calories per servings, and then how many servings per container, and then you figure out how many servings you used. I should make another prompt here. And then you go from there and do the calories and do the fats, do the sodium. That's another big one. Potassium, carbs, The carbs are the big nutrients that we talked about, and the fats and the proteins. But there's subgroups to them. And if a label doesn't have all of them on it, the vitamins, for example, then just leave that blank. Don't do that. But I try to put all of them on that I find them on the labels as a majority goes. And then we have a few prompts we're going to talk about, or I ask you to think about a little bit and then write that out, and then upload both of those tables and the prompts or the answers up onto the canvas. And that's it for this one. And then next week we'll do a little conversation about it.
I have a question. Is that week 3?
No, this is week 2.
Week 2.
Yeah. Here. Week 2 in lab. Down here. Food and health kit. See that?
I don't see that on mine.
You don't see that on yours? Oh wait, but this is the student view. You should. Anybody else have problems seeing it? Please help out. Anybody else problem seeing it?
Yeah, mine says discussing on food labeling analysts is week 3.
No, you got to go to week 2. Week 3 is the discussion, but that's not what we're doing right now. That will be down here.
It's on week 2, health kit, food label.
Yeah, so it should be on week 2 at the end here.
Analysis, food label analysis. It's under lab on week 2.
Yeah, see. Can you guys see me or no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys see the cursor when I move it around or not?
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out this new program, and sometimes it's a little. Well, if you still have problems afterwards, just reach out to me and we can do it offline. That's okay. No
I'm still. So I'm on there.
Okay.
And do I go on assignments?
I think the easiest is to go through modules.
Modules, okay.
And then once you're in modules, then you get a weekly format.
Oh, okay.
And there
I got it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, no, and just to understand, if you have a problem finding it, somebody else will too. So it's great you're asking. I'm really grateful for that.
Okay.
So must that make sense? The analysis itself, you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't have to use the table I made. You can, but you basically have to just write it down. You can do it however you want to do that, and just something that you can upload. I guess the table is probably a little hard to make in a video, but just don't feel like you have to be beholden to my format here.
I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
So is the modules different from how you look at it through assignments or grades, or is the same thing?
No, modules is different.
Yeah, go ahead. Which ones do you prefer?
I usually use modules because when you go in the assignments, it's kind of it's different. I'd go to the modules because it would go through each assignment like in order, so you know what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's more detailed.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And also, if I can add, just make sure that you're not clicking on the actual link for the modules too, because it will collapse it as well. So I know that when I first got on, I had a hard time because I was looking for module 2, but it was collapsed. So just make sure that you're going through the modules. I would agree.
Oh yeah, it's like when I click here on the arrow, it collapses it. So make sure you open it. Which helps once we open more, because we get into week 10, and I keep the old weeks open because some people still end up, correcting some of the discussions or something. Good.
Okay.
No, that's good. Okay, I think that's. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for asking. I think that's pretty good on my end. I don't know what else. I have not written anything else down. I think we touched on everything. We touched on all the activities this week. Well, except the understanding concepts, but you guys did pretty good the first week, or very good so far, what I've seen. And so that's just a couple, a few questions that I want you to ponder on as we go through this chapter. So also, as you go through it, I would have the test review, print it out, have the videos go on, possibly have the chemistry to have the questions on my phone or something like that, do parallel or the second time around, because you can stop, go with the videos. And then I also would also read the concept questions first, so then you kind of have an idea where they fit in, and then answer those as you go through the videos, or second time. But and then after that I would go, or before, but independently I would go through these, these other activities that we're doing this week. Good. Any other questions before we close it out? No? Well, then I'm good. I wish you guys a wonderful week. Stay in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll be in touch with you for sure. I'll be sending you texts.
Thank you.
Have a great time. Thank you.